Different levels, I cannot relate. You never win if you playing it safe. It's all a game until you get played.
And then the school board in San Francisco. Now, I've been reporting on the news out there in the Bay Area. Things are just not going well. You done had a mayor indicted. You got businesses closing down, crime rates high, education in the toilet. Everything is going on in the Bay Area, and it's being ran by Democrats. You can't blame Republicans for what's going on in the Bay Area. It's all Democrats up there. Well, the school board is considering a proposal to change how they grade students. So, out goes D's and F's. You can pass at 41%. There are no zeros, and there's a 50% minimum score if you attempt to do something. If you attempt to do it, you get 50% with unlimited access to make the assignments up, to bring grades up. And some of y'all probably looking at me like, man, Mark, you got to be lying about this. I'm going to let y'all hear this. I'm just going to let y'all hear the news from San Francisco.
What if homework, tests, attendance, and other factors didn't heavily count towards a student's academic grade? Joe Feldman, a former educator, said he saw a need to improve traditional grading practices.
Because teachers don't get trained how to grade, ironically, teachers are grading in lots of different ways.
6 years ago, he wrote the book Grading for Equity. He said his research shows that grades should be less about accumulating points for a student and more about what the student has learned.
So it shouldn't be about the grades. It should be about what they learned.
If my parent signs my syllabus, if my parent comes to back to school night, if I raise my hand, everything that I do in a class is incorporated into the grade. And what happens is that starts to warp the accuracy of the grade. And in equitable grading, the grade doesn't reflect anything except what the student has learned of what was taught in the course.
One of the key components of equitable grading is using a 0 to 4 scale instead of 0 to 100.
If a student doesn't turn in a homework assignment and they get a 0, it's really hard to bring that 0 up to a passing grade.
Retired college professor and education consultant Marty Kravitz addressed the pros and cons of grading equity.
Students get much more motivated to learn because it's easier for them to understand how they demonstrate their learning. The disadvantage, I think, is that a lot of teachers really resent the idea that if a student doesn't get any work, that a 0 should count as a 0.
10 years ago, the San Leandro School District changed its grading scale to reflect equitable grading practices. In 2020, the Castro Valley Unified School District started the transition. The San Francisco Unified School District appeared to be considering it, but on Wednesday, the superintendent said she has decided not to pursue this strategy.
I don't even know where we start with this one. You know, someone like myself who spends a lot of time like searching for content to create these shows, and I on social media a lot. And you always see people talking about merit, right? That's like the new thing. And you had colleges saying that the people were getting admission, special preferential treatment when it came to admissions. That's why you had the lawsuit against Harvard and University of North Carolina to roll back affirmative action. Everything should be based on merit. When it comes to education, accountability plays a huge factor in the discipline of a student. I'm going to give y'all a personal story. I got 4 kids, 3 girls, 3 daughters, and a son. My son is the oldest. When they were coming up, my son just graduated from college. A couple of weeks back, my oldest daughter is getting ready to graduate in December, and my youngest is going to college as a freshman this year, and then my second, I don't even consider her a middle child, but she's going to be a sophomore in college this year coming up. So when they were coming up as kids, we prided ourselves on making sure that we were those parents that were actively involved in their learning. Not so much with the teachers. Like sometimes, parents can be like trying to get the teacher to do stuff. But we were these parents that we made sure that we had access. And the school district that we in, phenomenal school district, by the way, Pickering local school district. They had us so that way we could track every single thing that our kids did. So when their grade went in, when they had to take a test and the grade went in, we would get notified for that. When they turned in their homework assignments, we would get notified for that. And we could actually go and see what assignments were due, their homework, everything. And my wife, to her credit, tracked all of this stuff from the time that they were in elementary school all the way till they graduated. She was on them like a hawk. Turn in your homework. What's up with this missed assignment? Why did you? And then if they didn't do an assignment and she saw it on there and they had she would be on them. What's up with this assignment? You ain't got nothing to do. You're not working. Why did you miss this assignment? And the kids were held accountable. Like, we didn't play when it came to education. All our kids graduated with honors. We did not play when it came to education. So the idea that you got a school district that's ready to sit up here and dumb students down, change the grading, and say, hey, we're not going to test you based on what you should be learning, the things that you should be learning in our classroom. No. We're not going to do that. We're going to test you on what you learned. We're going to grade you on based on what we learned. So if you ain't learned shit, guess what? Hey, you still pass though. This is nothing but No Child Left Behind on steroids. One of the worst policies that George W. Bush signed into law. One of the worst education initiatives ever comprised. And in an era where black students are already being looked at as mediocre, not good enough, getting preferential treatment, what the hell is this? A whole school district looking at having kids not even be prepared to go to college, because a lot of the stuff that these kids are learning in high school is the preparation for how they're going to do in school, in college. If their success rate on graduation, not the fact that they actually go to a college, because a lot of kids go to college for a year and then they turn around and then they drop out. We're talking about, do they have the fortitude and the capacity to go 4 or 5 years in their program and get a degree? And here we are dumbing it down and trying to make it seem like, hey, guess what? You don't have to do all that. What are you teaching these kids? What are you teaching them? That it's okay not to do your work? You still gonna be rewarded for that if you just try? The hell is this? This is more of this trophy. This is that more of this. Everybody gets a trophy crap. You're gonna have a lot of kids out here that don't know anything. They already have stripped them of a lot of stuff that we got taught as children. I'm in my 40s. So a lot of the things that we learned, they're not learning. And they're dumbing them down. Every single generation is getting dumbed down more. Dumbing them down. And maybe, just maybe there is people out here that want that to happen because they want to just eliminate all this stuff. You create poverty, you create crime. What does crime do? Crime goes up, and people get locked up. Perhaps this might be the next school to prison pipeline initiative. Because I don't see how any school district, and if you heard in the video, some school districts have already adopted this model. How are you preparing these kids for college? When they applying for schools and they looking at the scale, or they got a 4.0 GPA, you think, oh yeah, good. But then you find out that really, realistically, it's more like a 2.0 because they're not getting real grades. Black students are not reading at grade level in astronomical rates. Our kids are illiterate. And here you got another, I guess you would say liberal, because this is a liberal policy. I would highly doubt that a conservative would sign on to some crap like this. Another liberal trying to do some crap to dumb down the generation and hide it behind equity. This is not equity in education. I highly doubt when MLK was out marching the streets trying for civil rights, and you had Brown versus the Board of Education and all, I highly doubt this is what they figured when they were out there marching. I highly doubt that this is what they envisioned was going to be happening nearly 60 to 70 years later. I highly doubt that. And if you're a parent and you got a kid in school, get active. I understand you work. You got other things going on, but your kid's education should be of highest priority. Because if you all are not paying attention to what's going on with these school boards and all these policies they're trying to do, if you don't keep yourself abreast of what's going on in the schools that your kids go to, you're going to find yourself with your kid graduated and they don't know a damn thing. They are of no use to society. The only thing that they'll be able to accomplish is crime. Because who's going to hire them? I don't agree with this at all. I just don't. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Because this is, I get very, very pissed off when it comes to education, because I think education is the greatest equalizer. That's one thing that nobody can ever take away from you. They can try to call you all kind of names. They can say all these things about you. The one thing that they can't take away is that degree on that wall and your education, because you earned that. You earned it. Ain't no freebies going to school. Ain't no freebies. Y'all see my degrees on the back wall back there. There's a bachelor's and a master's back there. There is no greater equalizer than education. You put yourself in the game, regardless on whether you use your degrees or not. You have the capacity to sit for 4 or maybe 6 more years in a classroom to learn. And we should never stop learning. Don't let these liberals come into your school district with these dumb policies, trying to dumb your students down and have your kids out here not knowing how to read, write, or comprehend anything besides how to pick up a phone, jump on TikTok, and make a video. Don't do this to your kids, parents. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't let don't let them corrupt your kids like this. I see why people are starting to homeschool at a record rate now, because the education systems in our country are trash. And not to mention San Francisco, they fired their superintendent last week. And they've hired a lady named Dr. Sue, who is not an educator, who's never been in education at all. Only thing she's been able to do is successfully run some businesses, and she's supposed to be the next standard bearer for keeping San Francisco school district from getting taken over by the state of California. A hot ass mess. If you're in San Francisco, get the hell out of there. Run. The Bay Area is horrible. Horrible.